Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen on both channels. This is a writing by one of you, actually, a viewer who has been. I feel I'm going to scroll back here and see. She's thanking me for my transmissions of Jason's writing, and she says that she's been following him for a while now. And apparently, um, during one of the transmissions, and she doesn't say exactly which one here, um, at the moment 12:12 of the video, she started sobbing, tears of relief, and had her own transmission come through. And she said in her email that she was happy for me to share it if I felt called. Now, I have not read this, and I did feel called um, to do so. And all of a sudden, I'm having trouble breathing again, so bear with me just a moment. Took this out in the last video because I was crying, and I don't want sobbing on the. There we go. Something hit. Yeah. Okay, so convergence theory, conscious embodiment through perception and connection. The remembrance of it all through the magnitude of every single cell on Earth and through the atmospheric field. This was the fracture point of humanity. Layered and awakened through the resonance of every human heartbeat. Every ounce of suffering converged to meet, creating a crescendo through the pain body field, decoding every single cell from lifetimes of distortion, culminating in an existential dissolving and dissipation to initiate and facilitate the continuation of the Great Awakening. If I'm understanding what she's speaking on here, I feel like that could be what I'm experiencing in many ways through my own vessel here. I've I have wondered what in the world is happening here. Bear with me just a moment because there. I have wondered many times because so many things are happening to me that don't feel like they're mine. And that I'm processing something for something other than just me and just my generational karma. But I don't know that for a fact. It just feels so huge. And like I'm on the verge of slipping back away again, like I was just 12 years ago. And I don't want that. The pain has been so great. Anyway, back to her writing here. Culminating in an existential dissolving and dissipation to initiate and facilitate the continuation of the Great Awakening, implanting the codex of cellular memory into every child born into the fragmented reality. Each and every one gifted with specific codes, hoping and praying that these resonance fractal codes would be awakened and shared through the field of these individuals. Before any of this started with Jason, Lisa and I spoke several years ago about how each of us, as we healed certain things within our bodies, carried those codes around with us, and they were available to everyone that passed through our fields, whether we spoke to them, whether they knew it or not. And so that's exactly what this is saying here to me, anyway. Sometimes realizing that you knew all along but didn't know is just feels like a lot. Not all would be awakened, but if only enough could break through and connect to one another, they would emanate and radiate, magnetize and co-create a harmonization of resonant awakening. I know now with all of me that this is why I had that vision years ago of a tiny home community that I was shown a particular layout of this community. Because I know she's right here. I know Jason's right. And it's stronger when we're together. Lisa and I experienced that, but we've both been quite ill for the last year and a half. And compression seems to be the key for me because I feel like I'm being squished. Back to Vanessa's writing here. This was the collective mission born through a generation of intergenerational distortion and fragmentation. Born connected, sensing, seeing, feeling, hearing, interconnected, sovereign, completely harmonic, highly resonant beings. All fighting internally to maintain their frequencies despite the daily assaults. Wow, I can't, I, despite the daily assaults from family, society, and humanity. Wow, this is just by being, they were affecting everyone in their field. I can't tell you how many times that I was told I was too much. Yet the field was converging on a greater magnitude of density, distorting the children of their own reality. Yeah, when you're told enough times that that's not real, uh, you're lying, stuff like that. You sit down and be quiet when you're little. Daily assault of permeation, lowering their frequency and changing their reality. Many lost their way and fell into despair, escapism, addiction, and depression. Yeah. Questioning their own sanity, reality, and their deepest knowing within. Yet, the convergence of this depression created an introversion, an implosion, a fracturing, and an absolute existential knowing, an uncovering of a collective will to live, not just exist, not just survive, but truly live and thrive. A deep inborn knowing that there was more to life, that there were more like them, and they were truly not alone. And I know that's true too. And I know that we're spread out all over the place. I know that, but eventually we will be able to be together. I just know that too. Lisa and I found each other, and we will all find each other. Sovereign, yet interconnected, a remembrance that they weren't separate, a phenomenal inner impetus to awaken and trust their innate gifts. They pushed against the pressure of the overlay and density of containment and conditioning. They started trusting the gut feelings, the signs, the synchronicities, the visions, and the dreams, radiating magnetism of resonance that sent out a call for the others. I've known for a long time that that's the reason my channels kept getting shut down. Even though I didn't have very many subscribers or followers or anything like that, I knew that it was a matter of frequency as to why Conscious Conversations Central was taken down on YouTube, and also why Corona Rising was taken down on YouTube. But Sassy Seer Sheila is not going to be taken down. I don't feel like that's the case here. I think that it's too late now. The call has already gone out. And it certainly won't stop me because I'll just make another channel. Magnetizing one another to assist with uncovering and awakening their own inner codes and amplifying the remembrance and knowing of a greater purpose. Many lost their way again differently this time. Differently this time, the mission took over many lives. Off into other dimensions, seeking a greater resonance, grasping at a higher inflated mission. There must be more than this. Okay, maybe I didn't read that right. Magnetizing one another to assist with uncovering and awakening their own inner codes and amplifying the remembrance and knowing of a greater purpose. Many lost their way again. Differently this time, the mission took over many lives. Off into other dimensions, seeking a greater resonance, grasping at a higher inflated mission. There must be more than this. They found, oh, I see. They found each other through inflation of idealization, through a different escapism. Existential, highly resonant bypassing. I thought that might be where we were going here, because there has been an awful lot of bypassing I've seen in the spiritual community. There's a lot of, that's why I use the term light worker kind of with quotations, because it's never been about helping the other. It's about doing the internal work because of that whole thing of carrying it in the field. We didn't come here to liberate everyone. That ain't how this works. It's about awakening self and carrying those answers in the field so that others have the advantage of that, should they choose, because not everyone does. Existential, highly resonant bypassing the fragmentation and density of civilization's controlled reality. into the unknown, uncontrollable, existential, noble cause of awakening those who supposedly couldn't see they were all sheep. Down the rabbit holes of searching and seeking for this already embedded within, meaning not knowing it was part of the design of awakening. So many lost in the ether of spiritually bypassing the fracturing of Mother Earth, praying, chanting, light coding, and dismantling the matrix. Yet the lattice was layering and layering their consciousness into an existential escapism of epic proportions. The dichotomy of general consensus mirrored in spiritual conditioning and so-called awakening without grounding, creating another convergence and implosion of highly resonant seeking beings to come back to Earth and draw on all their experiences and discoveries, to reconvene completely grounded and truly embody their sovereignty with wisdom, grace, and integrity. Again, sending out a collective resonant signal to all the encoded individuals who had discovered the Holy Grail within of true sovereignty, yet remembrance that we are all highly resonant, interconnected, sentient beings who don't need to do anything other than exist in true presence to affect humanity's resonance and awaken those who wish to converge into truly existing and undo all that is and live with presence outside of any matrix other than their own fields of perception and compassion, reverence, and understanding of everyone and everything. Living in harmony in co-creation of a sovereign world and one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and liberation for all. The convergence is undone. 1:44 p.m., Melbourne, Australia. Vanessa, Leigh, sovereign, loving being. The divergence created the illusion of separation. The convergence restored the remembrance of resonance. The emergence of harmonic resonance, and she has 155 there. The emergence of harmonic resonance restores the amplification of the true lattice of loving interconnectedness of sovereign, ancient, sentient beings, sustaining humanity for eons with an overlay from greater dimensions for continued assistance and interdependence. Because if one falls, it affects the whole of existence. End of transmission. Wow. Well, I've sent this lovely being another email because she is in Australia, and that is 14 hours ahead of, I believe it's 14 hours ahead of me. And I would love to have a conscious conversation with her. She is also coming to the US very soon. So I'm hoping that we can connect, although she's not coming to this area of the country. So I'm not sure that could work, but at least a Zoom call maybe could. I'm really hoping so. I want to thank her for her kind words to me personally and for this transmission, because Yeah, there's obviously a lot of unexpressed grief or something still in here. And I have a hard time understanding why it's so deep and so much that it feels like it wants to overwhelm me all the time. At least lately again. So that's it for this. I will be back. I will be back. Y'all won't even know. I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. If you are still looking for your mission, understand that what if, just ask yourself, what if your mission is that joy that you're not moving towards? Or something that's got your attention and you've written it off as some kind of, fanciful thing that you can't do or have or be or whatever that is. None of us have a clue as to exactly what is happening here. I personally feel like moving towards that draws your attention. What if that is your sole purpose? What if resonating and amplifying that is the sole purpose? Because nothing we've been taught here is exactly what it seems. And so by moving towards that which you are drawn to, there's a reason you're drawn. There's a reason. And you might think you know, but my internal guidance has been you don't know what you don't know. And you can't possibly know what you don't know. So until we meet again, my friends, be well.